If you've been ready for a change or unsure of your next steps, there's a reason. You're not stuck, you're not behind, you're not unmotivated. You're in a season. Once you understand your season, everything else can change. Your energy, your priorities, they all start to make sense. Hi, I'm Jaime, and this is Second Act Simplified. This show is for women in midlife who want clarity, confidence, and a next chapter that feels like their own. We keep things real here. No pressure, no perfection, just honest conversations to help you build the life that matches the woman you are now, not the woman you were 20 years ago. Last week, we walked through a grounded pivot plan for 2026, and there were 3 categories. Start what brings clarity, stop what drains your energy, and carry forward the strengths that you've already built over the decades. Our conversation today, we're going to zoom out a little bit differently. Before you take any action, you need to understand the season that you're in. Not the one you want to be in, not the one you are in or that people expect you to be in, but the one that you're in right now. There's 3 seasons every woman's going to move forward through in midlife: a season of growth, grounding, or a season of rebuilding. Each one asks something different of you and has its own pace. By the end of the episode, you're going to know exactly where you fit into this. You might be thinking, why does this matter? Midlife is a steady chapter, and a lot of us try to just push through it at the same speed. But once we understand what season we're in, things become clear or easier. Maybe we need to stop sprinting and just be still. Or maybe we need to stop criticizing ourselves and just decide we don't have energy for the things we used to. Start making decisions that fit your life today. It's not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. Let's dive into each season. The season of growth. This is the season where you feel your energy build up again. You feel pulled forward. You're open to new ideas, new possibilities, and your curiosity really comes into focus. You're ready to do something new. Women in a growth season say things like, I'm really excited again, or I finally feel excited again. I can feel a change. I want to challenge myself. Here are some signs that you're here. Maybe you feel energized by some new ideas, or you want movement or momentum into something new. Maybe you're willing to take risks that you haven't been willing to take before, or you're craving an expansion or creativity. You might be braver than you were even just a few months ago, and certainly a few years ago. What do you do if you're in this season? You need structure, support, and priorities. You don't need a bunch of ideas. You need direction for the ideas that are really important to you. I've been in this season, and I'm probably in transition between this season and the next season that we're going to talk about. About a year and a half ago, I started the blog. About 5 months ago, give or take, I started working on the podcast. I can see the difference in where I was. I was signing up for every class, every free offer, paid offers, working on the blog, working on the podcast, trying to be on social media. This is where you might identify, I've overcommitted. I've overcommitted in pretty much every area of my life. You need to focus on what's the one thing you want to grow right now. Mine is really the podcast and my website, but I need to trim down all the extra stuff on the side. Those things can only be done if I really have time, but my primary focuses need to be the podcast and the blog. So we're going to transition here. This is the season of grounding that's next after that. This is where I think I'm in transition. This is what the grounding season feels like. It's where you crave steadiness, clarity, routine. It's all about stabilizing. I want things to make more sense before I move on, or I'm simplifying everything. So I'm definitely leaving the first phase and I'm going into the grounding phase. And things that you are going to feel a pull towards are you're drawn to routines, your energy is softer, you're focusing on organizing or decluttering, maybe reevaluating what you're working on. You need to refine your boundaries. And this is where I'm at right now. I'm saying yes to too many things still. And this is not just as it relates to the business, but it's kind of across the board at saying yes to too much. Priorities are important, not acceleration. This season needs patience, reflection, and consistency. Less doing and more integrating. I'm almost 100% in the grounding season. And some traps for those of us that are in that season, thinking something's wrong because it's quiet. If you're here, what needs strengthening before I take my next step? I would say for me, it's my processes and my boundaries. The next season is a season of rebuilding and what that feels like. This is a really important and maybe tender season. It usually follows burnout, a major change, an identity shift, or a moment where you're just like, okay, I need a change. This does not match who I am anymore. Women in this season will say things like, I don't feel like myself. I know I'm changing. I just don't know what I want to do next or what am I changing into. I need a breath. I need some space. Some signs that you're here, your confidence might be shaky. Your energy's not consistent. You feel like you're in an identity change. I used to think this and now I think that. You feel drained or you're just searching for direction. This season is where you really need honest but gentle compassion for yourself. You'll need some rest. You need time to research. You need time to think about what is it that I really want. Things that catch us in this season is trying to move at the speed of the growth season. You're not going to be able to do that. You need to think about what are the small steps that I can take this week. Here's how you can identify which season you're in. I'll give you a few questions so that you can really pin down where am I at in these 3 seasons. Which description made you exhale or feel like that's it? That is me. I feel like that. Where is your energy? Is it expanding? Is it steadying? Do you feel like you're in a place where you're recovering? What pace does your life feel like you're ready for? That's a really important call out. If you're in a season and you can't maintain that pace, you need to evaluate what you can do. What decision would feel supportive, not stressful? And there's no right season. It's just calling out, where are you at? Here's how your season shapes your next steps. If you're in a growth season, use last week's pivot plan to build momentum, but slowly. Start thinking about what's bringing you clarity, stop what drains you, and carry forward what gives you strength. If you're in a grounding season, use last week's podcast as your clarity check-in. Focus on reducing the noise in your life, not adding new goals. And if you're in a rebuilding season, use the pivot plan. Definitely stop what drains you. That's what rebuilding is about. And start with rest. Carry forward only the things that are supportive. This is exactly where my Second Act Pathfinder comes in. It will help you identify your season, ask the right questions for your pace, get clear on what your next steps are, and avoid forcing you into the wrong season, because that would be detrimental to you moving forward. Right now, I'm working on building a support system long-term, a membership where you can walk through the seasons, the pivots, and we can have those now what moments together. If today's episode helped you recognize the season you're in, give yourself credit. Awareness is movement. Awareness is a shift. If you want support mapping out those next steps without pressure, grab my Second Act Pathfinder. It will be in the show notes. It's a tool that helps you navigate the season with clarity in your next steps. Make sure to subscribe and share this with a friend who's trying to find her own pace as well. I'll see you next week.